Our planet is warming. This is not news. We've been aware of this phenomenon for a long time, and the evidence is all around us. From the sweltering heat waves that break records every summer to the unseasonal weather patterns that leave us bewildered, the signs are unmistakable. We have known about it for decades. Scientists have been sounding the alarm since the mid-20th century, presenting data and urging policymakers to take action. Yet, despite the overwhelming consensus in the scientific community, progress has been slow. But what is shocking is how quickly this change is happening. Glaciers that once seemed eternal are now retreating at an unprecedented rate. Cities that once enjoyed predictable weather are now facing erratic and extreme conditions. The pace of change is accelerating, and it is outpacing our efforts to mitigate it. Scientists predict a possible 7 degrees Celsius temperature rise by the year 2200. This is not a distant, abstract figure. It is a tangible and terrifying reality that could reshape life on Earth as we know it. Such a rise in temperature would have catastrophic consequences for ecosystems, economies, and human health. This is a stark warning, a call to action for all of humanity. The voices of protesters, activists, and concerned citizens are growing louder, demanding that we take responsibility for our planet's future. They are urging us to make the necessary changes to avert disaster. We must act, and we must act now. Every small action counts, from planting trees to reducing waste, from supporting sustainable practices to advocating for policy changes. It is a collective effort that requires the participation of individuals, communities, and nations. The consequences of inaction are too dire to ignore. If we fail to address this crisis, we will face a world where droughts become more severe, water sources dry up, and agricultural yields plummet. The very foundation of our food security is at risk. Imagine a world plagued by extreme weather events, where hurricanes and wildfires become more frequent and more destructive. These natural disasters not only cause immediate devastation, but also have long-term impacts on communities, economies, and ecosystems. Rising sea levels swallowing coastal cities, and widespread food shortages. Coastal areas home to millions of people are particularly vulnerable. As sea levels rise, these regions face the threat of being submerged, displacing populations and disrupting livelihoods. Food shortages driven by changing climate conditions could lead to increased hunger and conflict. This is not science fiction. It is the future we face if we fail to curb our emissions. The pollution from industrial activities continues to choke our atmosphere, contributing to the greenhouse effect and exacerbating global warming. The longer we delay, the harder it will be to reverse the damage. The time for debate is over. The evidence is clear, and the need for action is urgent. We can no longer afford to argue over the existence or causes of climate change. It is happening, and it is happening now. The time for action is now. Transitioning to renewable energy sources, such as wind and solar power, is a crucial step. These technologies not only reduce our carbon footprint, but also create jobs and drive economic growth. By investing in a sustainable future, we can protect our planet and ensure a better quality of life for future generations. The Potsdam Institute for Climate Impact Research, a leading voice in climate science, has issued a stark warning. Their research indicates that we are on a trajectory to a significantly hotter planet. How much hotter? A staggering 7 degrees Celsius warmer by the year 2200. This is not merely a number. It represents a catastrophic shift in our planet's delicate balance. 7 degrees may not seem like much, but on a global scale, it represents a transformation of our world as we know it. One of the most immediate and tangible consequences of a warming planet is the increase in extreme weather events. Hurricanes, once rare, are becoming more frequent and more intense. Droughts are lasting longer, scorching once fertile lands. Heat waves are becoming more severe, claiming lives and pushing infrastructure to their limits. These are not isolated incidents. They are a pattern of increasingly erratic and destructive weather patterns. As temperatures climb, so too do sea levels. The polar ice caps, once a testament to Earth's frozen extremes, are melting at an alarming rate. This melting ice adds vast quantities of water to our oceans, causing sea levels to rise. Coastal communities, home to millions, face an uncertain future. Rising seas threaten to inundate their homes, businesses, and entire ways of life. The very ground beneath their feet is at risk. Section 5. Hungry for change. Climate change is not just an environmental issue, it is a humanitarian one. As temperatures rise and weather patterns become more erratic, our ability to produce food is threatened. Droughts wither crops, floods inundate fields, and unpredictable seasons disrupt traditional farming practices. Food insecurity, already a pressing issue in many parts of the world, is poised to worsen. The most vulnerable among us, those who depend on subsistence farming or lack the resources to adapt, will bear the brunt of this crisis. Section 6. Trapped heat. The primary driver of this warming trend is the increase in greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide, methane, and other gases act like a blanket around the Earth, trapping heat from the sun. This trapped heat is causing the planet to warm. Human activities, particularly the burning of fossil fuels, release vast amounts of these greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. The more we rely on fossil fuels, the thicker this heat-trapping blanket becomes. Section 7. Nature fights back. The Earth is a complex system, and its various components are intricately interconnected. As we disrupt the delicate balance of this system, we trigger a cascade of unforeseen consequences. These are known as carbon cycle feedback loops. For instance, as permafrost, frozen ground found in high-latitude regions, thaws due to rising temperatures, it releases trapped methane into the atmosphere. Methane is a potent greenhouse gas, so this release further exacerbates warming, leading to more permafrost thawing and so on. Section 8. Turning down the heat. The situation may seem dire, but there is still hope. Communities around the world are coming together to combat climate change. From local initiatives to global movements, people are taking action to protect our planet. We have the power to change course, but it requires a fundamental shift in our relationship with energy. This means rethinking how we produce, consume, and conserve energy. We must transition away from fossil fuels and embrace renewable sources such as solar. Solar energy harnesses the power of the sun, providing a clean and abundant source of electricity. Wind energy is another crucial component. Wind turbines convert the kinetic energy of the wind into electricity, offering a sustainable alternative to traditional power sources. Geothermal energy taps into the heat from the Earth's core, providing a reliable and constant source of power. By diversifying our energy portfolio, we can reduce our dependence on fossil fuels and lower our carbon footprint. We must invest in energy efficiency, reducing our energy consumption through better technologies and more sustainable practices. This includes upgrading our homes and buildings to be more energy efficient, using smart home technology to monitor and reduce energy use, and adopting energy-saving devices. Local communities can play a significant role in this transition. Community solar projects and local wind farms empower neighborhoods to generate their own clean energy, fostering a sense of ownership and responsibility. The transition to a low-carbon future will not be easy, but it is essential for the survival of our planet and future generations. By working together and making conscious choices, we can create a sustainable and prosperous future for all. On a global scale, international cooperation is vital. Climate agreements and summits bring together leaders from around the world to commit to reducing emissions and investing in renewable energy. Collaborative efforts are key to addressing the climate crisis. Innovation and research in green technologies are also crucial. By investing in the development of new and improved renewable energy solutions, we can accelerate the transition to a sustainable energy future. Education and awareness are fundamental. By educating the public about the importance of renewable energy and sustainable practices, we can inspire more people to take action and make a difference. Ultimately, turning down the heat requires a collective effort. Every individual, community, and nation has a role to play. Together, we can create a cleaner, greener, and more sustainable world for future generations. Section 9, Our Planet, Our Responsibility. In this chapter, we delve into the critical importance of our collective duty to protect and preserve the environment. Our planet is facing unprecedented challenges, and it is up to each one of us to take responsibility and act. The Paris Agreement, a landmark international accord aimed at limiting global warming, provides a roadmap for action. Signed by nearly every nation, it represents a unified commitment to address climate change. This agreement is not just a piece of paper, it is a symbol of hope and a call to action for all of humanity. The agreement's goal is to keep global temperature rise well below 2 degrees Celsius, above pre-industrial levels, with efforts to limit the increase to 1.5 degrees. This target is crucial because even a small increase in global temperatures can have devastating effects on our ecosystems, weather patterns, and sea levels. Scientists around the world are working tirelessly to monitor climate data and provide accurate predictions. Their research is essential in understanding the full impact of climate change and in developing strategies to mitigate its effects. Weather stations and temperature graphs are more than just numbers. They are the pulse of our planet, telling us how urgently we need to act. Achieving these goals requires a global effort. It is not enough for a few countries to take action. We need cooperation and commitment from every corner of the globe. From planting trees to investing in renewable energy projects, every action counts. Communities coming together to plant trees symbolize the unity and collective effort needed to combat climate change. Governments, businesses, and individuals must all play their part in reducing emissions, investing in sustainable solutions, and promoting green technologies. Wind turbines and solar panels are not just technological advancements. They are beacons of hope for a sustainable future. Recycling and using electric cars are small steps that can lead to significant changes. Adapting to a changing climate is equally important. Coastal flood defenses protect vulnerable communities from rising sea levels, while farmers adjusting to new agricultural methods ensure food security. Urban planners designing green spaces contribute to healthier, more resilient cities. These adaptations are necessary to safeguard our way of life and protect future generations. This is not just an environmental issue. It is a matter of justice, equity, and the future of humanity. Climate change disproportionately affects the most vulnerable among us, including children and marginalized communities. It is our moral duty to ensure that everyone has the opportunity to thrive in a safe and healthy environment. The fight against climate change is a fight for justice, for equity,